everyone? Welcome to Unmasked, where things are discovered, uncovered, brought to the light, and made known. I'm your host, Lamar Barrett, coming live to you from PG County, Maryland. If you're interested in finding out about the untold stories behind being a college coach, this is the show for you. Being a former assistant men's college basketball coach for 16 years, there are so many untold stories behind the scenes in the life of a college basketball coach. Now, let's unmask them. Today's guest is a longtime assistant coach, a great basketball mind, a mentor to so many young men, a good friend, and a Baltimore native, Keith Goodie. Let me talk about Keith Goodie's bio a little bit before we get him on the show. Keith is was an outstanding player in Baltimore, and from there he went on to junior college and finished up his career at UDC, University District of Columbia, where he had an outstanding, especially senior year. And from there, he came out and decided to get into coaching. He did a lot of grassroots basketball with Baltimore Select for nine seasons. And then he actually went to Morgan State, where he spent 8 years there at Morgan State. They went to won a couple of championships, went to the NCAA tournament. And then after 8 seasons at Morgan State, he worked with Team Mello for 3 summers. And then he also was at St. Francis High School in Baltimore, where he did an outstanding job with Nick Miles. And then presently, he's at Delaware State. Been there since 2018. He's doing an outstanding job working with Eric Skeeter. And I know those guys will do a great job turning their program around. I want to say welcome to the show, Goodie.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Lamar.
You know what, Goodie? You know what? We're gonna get right into it, man. You know, we this is the Unmatched for a reason. You know, so let's get unmasked. Goodie, you've been in it long enough. You come straight. You came from AAU, done some high school stuff, but you've been around it long enough where you had some really good players, and so you knew about the recruiting process and all of that stuff and what went on. But you get your job at Morgan State. It's the first time you go. There's no handbook to being a college coach. There's no training or any of that stuff. And so nobody actually gives you any direction. But tell me about your first day, first week, first month after things are done with human resources and orientation. Tell me what's that experience like.
To be honest with you, I volunteered there for a year and a half. So in the college, most of the kids were local Baltimore kids, especially the core group anyway. So I kind of had relationships with them from the grassroots thing. But I'm going to give props where it's due. Guys like yourself, I saw on the road who I already knew, but I knew from a different perspective from the grassroots, not actually coaching college. But I just paid nobody, like you said, gave me a handbook. I would just say we in Orlando recruiting. I would see you pull your book out with different colored pens. I got to go get me some pens. So I might say, Lamar, I'll be right back, hold my seat. I'm going to get all 4 different color pens. I mean, of course, I knew the rule. We was concentrating on Philly, New Jersey, New York, Baltimore, D.C., and Virginia. So in the book, of course, I highlighted all those kids in that area or what teams they were on. And then, like I said, I paid attention. I watched y'all when y'all didn't know I was watching you. And I would say, oh, he got a yellow pen, he got an orange pen, and I would get all the pens. And then I always made sure I took good notes because I knew when I got back to the hotel, I would have to be organized to understand what I read, not only what I read, but what kid it specifically was. And then my one little advantage was having relationships with my counterparts, Jimmy Salmons, Curtis Malone's, all my rivals in coaching AAU. So most of the time we was a Dita team. So most of the Dita teams, I already had a relationship with the coaches, assistant coaches. So that kind of eased it was kind of made it a smoother transition for me.
Yeah. Awesome. Now you talked about going out to Orlando and you out to all these different places, but what was your best and worst recruiting story? Like the kid you may have not gotten, or you on a trip. What was your best and worst recruiting story?
Well, I got to think on that. Well, I could say my worst recruiting story is And you know, you win some, you lose some. And the big kid Jordan Lathan from from Baltimore City College High School, that ended up going to Xavier. I had got the word that he was trying to transfer. So I reached out to him, and his parents and his dad and his turret was open-minded. And I'm going back and forth. And the kid seems interested because he want to come back home. And I kind of like let it out the bag too early that, man, we probably can go to the NCAA and fight for a waiver. You're coming back home. We might be able to get you to play right away. You understand what I'm saying? So that was one of my selling points, and the kid was all in. So it's a matter of him coming to the campus and meeting Bowles. And one thing about Bowles, he gave you that freedom. Bowles is a finisher, you know what I'm saying? But if you got him, that most like Bowles is going to freedom. And Bowles used to be like, well, who else? You need to talk to Bub. And I was like, talk to Bub for what? Bub, a friend of mine, but I got the kid. And that was one of my lessons. You don't have the kid when you think you got the kid. You got to surround him with everybody. And the minute the kid walked from campus, guess who walked in the office with him? Bub. Bub. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, so, and it put the more pressure on me, not knowing at the time, because Bo was looking at it like, that's your man. Bo is your man. This should be a layup. Good. This easy. And Bub is my man per se, because his father's my guy. Long story short, cutting through the chase, through the process, the kid instance that. Bub ended up taking the kid to Loyola with Patsos and explaining what we was going to do to get him eligible. So it took our advantage away. And the kid ended up going to Loyola, right? And getting eligible to play right away. And we had to end up playing him that next year. So the lesson was learned. You don't have him when you think you have him. Surround him with everybody. And, you know, you got to grind the thing out and surround him with everybody. But the thing was, like Bub, his whole thing was, he didn't have no problem with me. I'm his guy. He didn't know Bowles, this, and that. But knowing me was supposed to be knowing Bowles to me. That's how I felt. Trusted me. Long story short, it took a while. You know, I didn't like it, but I took it personal, but I didn't take it personal. So Bud finally came clean one day. He was like, this is no knock on you, good. I don't even think the kid could play for Bowles. Bowles tough. You understand what I'm saying? Bowles a grinder, which to me was a cop-out because, yeah, Bowles was tough, but Bowles just expected you to play and grind. And it was my job as an assistant to get him through that. And I felt like I could. But what happened was, the thing was, Bub was so adamant that he felt like he really knew the kid, and he didn't think the kid could play, but he didn't think he had that mental grit yet to play for Bowles and his style, what he saw from Bowles from the outside looking in. So I would say that's probably one of my worst experiences, right? Now I got a handful of good experiences. I mean, because when I first came to Morgan, a lot of those kids either played AAU with me or I knew their fathers who played ball with me. You take a Kevin Thompson, man, his fathers used to play ball against each other. So it was like, you know, he ain't had no problem. Reggie Holmes, his father played ball with me, you know, went to high school with me. So it was like handing a nephew over to you. You know what I'm saying? Itchy Bolden played AAU with me, played Baltimore Select, and I knew he wanted to come home. So he had Hawaii and schools like that, but he was bent on coming back to Baltimore. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of them guys, my inner city ties, it was like, we're going to go forward with my man. And then Bowles and his reputation, then Coach Black, which he knew most of the kids too because he came from the same background. So a lot of it, it was kind of like you had to nurture it. But to be honest with you, it was like built in right there for us, you know?
So that was great relationships, man. Great relationships.
Exactly.
And Kevin Thompson, Walbrook, I remember him. My man, Calvin Bridges. I remember Kevin Thompson, right? Big Kevin Thompson?
Yeah, Big Kevin, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, we got lucky. You know how it is. What happened? Kev's senior year, he hurt his knee, second game of the season. So everybody fell off. But to Bowles' defense, when I was coaching AAU, Bowles came to a game. Bowles already knew he had the Georgetown job. I mean, he already knew he had the Maryland job, but nobody had announced it. And we had no idea. He came up Georgetown to watch us play in the Charlie Weber. And he was like, good, you run some nice stuff, man. You run some nice stuff. I was like, I mean, it's all right. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, just trying with some games, Bowles. I like the big fella. All of mine, Bowles already had in mind he wanted the kid. You see what I'm saying? Bowles was on the kid already. And Bowles, he wouldn't take no for ass. he would go to the kid, go up Walbrook, see the kid when they speak. Kid was an introvert. He was different. And if he didn't know you, he wouldn't give you 2 seconds. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But through his father relationship, it was like easy for me. And also, I wasn't physically on staff. I was like a volunteer. So he didn't have to deal with me all the time. I could call him whenever. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? So, and that was kind of like right time, right place.
Awesome, man. So you've been like, you a family guy. I mean, but you know how crazy this business is, man. Like, what did you have to give up achieving your current level of success?
Well, I had to, from my background being worldly and a lot of stuff in my previous past I had got into, I had to give up being able to just get up and go to the All-Star game, get up and go to the Super Bowl. It might seem simple, but that's how I was living. I mean, like, well, you going? Yeah, why wouldn't I not go? So all these things that I was accustomed just getting up, going to games whenever I wanted. Like, man, the Rockets played, Sam and them play, they played New York. Let's go, man. We on the train. We there. We gonna hang out with Sam, go to Atlantic City after the game. You understand what I'm saying? So it was like a whole adjustment to like your which in the long run turned out to be a great thing. I was never confined to one spot. Once I actually started working, it was like, man, I got to be on campus every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, my time was accounted for, and that was new for me. That was a whole different animal for me, which in the long run probably saved my life. So
I get you. You know how this business is, man. Like, you get into scout reports because everybody doing them. And sometimes when you do your best scout report, it could be the worst game the kids play. Or you could do your worst scout report. You think it's like, man, there's some stuff I missed, blah, blah, blah. But you end up winning big. So you remember a time, like, what was your best and worst scout report?
Well, to be honest with you, I got heavily into the scouting reports at the Delaware State. And he would assign, my job was basically every game what would work against their defense. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, you just completely stated, you can have a design, but you just have an off shooting night. You understand what I'm saying? You just didn't shoot the ball that night, but you got all the right shots. You know what I'm saying? Or one kid just broke the play every time. You understand what I'm saying? So what I've learned, especially through guys like yourself and, other guys in the business on higher levels, that it was bigger than the scouting report. I mean, of course, we had to know, the key points, but the kids had to perform. I felt my strength was motivating them and kind of like convincing them that this would work. This would make it easy. I know your way will work. This going to make it easy. You know what I'm saying? And, that's that daily pull, grind back and forth with the kids. But I agree with you 100%. At the end of the day, it just got to be your day. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Biggest challenge you think you've experienced since you've been in college coaching?
I had to convince my peers, not so much you guys, but my worldly peers, that I was 100% in this. Like, man, this is what I'm doing. Nothing else. This is what I'm doing. Everybody already knew I loved the game. You know what I'm saying? And it was a big game. I was there, watching, playing, whatever. I loved the game. So my biggest challenge was, to get that moniker from Keith Goodie, the worldly guy, to Coach Goodie. You know what I'm saying? And once and keep it that way. You understand what I'm saying? Keep it that way where it was consistent. Like, when you saw me, oh, that's Coach. And let's keep it that way. You understand what I'm saying? So that was one of my biggest challenges. And my challenge was learning to adjust to the environment, because the environment I came from, if people who spoke to you that didn't know you, it was like, that was weird. You know what I'm saying? But in this environment, you kind of got, that's part of it. And also, Lamar, I was the type of dude, you probably could attest to this, if I knew you, I'd talk your head off. If I didn't know you, I didn't talk. So guy come up to you, what y'all need, this. I'm like, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And then I had to understand That's the nature of the business. That's what people do. And also, I had to understand the backside of it, that everybody wasn't for you. You understand what I'm saying? And people would do things and look you dead in your face and expect no consequences from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the nature of the business. To throw you, man, he can't do this, he can't do that. But one thing about me, I always felt like I judge people by their intentions, nothing else. I don't think people automatically do right by you. I thought they had to have good intentions. And until you prove otherwise, I gave you the benefit of the doubt, and I treated you how I wanted to be treated. You understand what I'm saying? Like, me and you,
Yep.
we get on the road all the time. And me and you basically bonded from basketball. And the funny thing, and I never really told you this, you would know every player. You see what I'm saying? I was saying, like, Lamar, I ain't seen Lamar in Baltimore in 10 months, and you would know, the good play for him, and you would know one thing about you, if it was a kid, if he was down the road up the street, you knew something about him. You know what I'm saying? So that was like, I was like, so what you think, Lamar? Like, we already have our opinion, but I knew you saw the kid. You wasn't just talking about what you heard. See what I'm saying? That's the difference. A lot of people talk about what they hear. But you were actually seeing the kid. The kid good. When y'all had him, you knew kids. You remember kids from Baltimore Select. Some of them that I kind of forgot. And I'll be like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? So that all that right there kind of like played a part in it.
Appreciate that, man. Now, you said something it triggered this question. Like, do you ever find that there are things about you that people misunderstand? Like, what are they?
All the time for me, all the time. First, like through high school, everything, they didn't know that I was a great student. I mean, and that's not to my horn. The books speak for themselves. I went to Loyola High School for the 9th and 10th, and coming from Char Hill, my neighbor I grew up, that was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't get in there, but I went there and ain't pay a dime. You understand what I'm saying? And even going back to school with Morgan, I was magna cum laude. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I mean, it spoke for itself. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the issue with me. I could grind with the school thing. You know what I'm saying? It was just a matter of being focused and putting my energies into the right things.
Good stuff, man. We all educated. We coaches first, and I think you're a great mentor, a young man. You've always done that. I look at it that way, no matter what. Like, what would you try to teach your players besides basketball?
Life lessons, like basically, treat people like you want to be treated. Be a man of your word. Own up to it. I mean, be accountable, but own your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Don't blame people. A lot of these kids, they want to blame everybody else but themselves. You know what I'm saying? Hold yourself accountable and treat people like you want to be treated. Like, my thing was, even like them dealing with administrators or women around the school or in the airport, everybody got a mother. Would you have a problem if somebody spoke to your mother like that? And their whole perspective and their whole looks would change. You understand what I'm saying? So that lady you getting smart without the mouth, she got a son that care about her just like you. You know what I'm saying? So I would kind of like try to and then pass on my life lessons that, is bigger than you. Sometimes you got to suppress your ego. You know what I'm saying? And one of the most slept on things, pick your battles. A lot of these kids want to battle about everything. Even as grown-ups, we do. Pick the battles that you can win. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Great life lessons, man. What are your best and worst memories in coaching?
Well, my best memories is from coaching, but it's not always on the court. Of course, like winning the MEAC tournaments, that was great. But I got a text the other day from Rodney Sproul, and I probably ain't talked to Rodney Sproul in 3 years. And he was like, man, I just wanted to holler at you good. This Rodney Sproul. I said, I already got your number locked in. Man, you told me more than my father did. And y'all guys at Baltimore Select, man, y'all really, really helped me become a man. That's the stories and the testimonies behind it. You take a Dante Pretlow, who went to my high school, Dunbar, and even after getting released far from Morgan, his graduation, I bought him a suit and a pair of Ferragamos, and he was he did, that was his first shoot. He didn't know that you take the tag off the arm. So you got to take that off. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing him graduate in 4 years from a young boy that actually, when I recruited him, he was late for school every day because he had to take his little sister to school. To see him graduate, now working and got his degree, and that's my biggest accomplishment. Not the rings, but when you see them guys like Reggie Holmes, he saw my wife one time, and we was at a party together. One of the friends had 40th birthday party, and Reg came, and Reg told my wife, she told me afterward, man, everything I got, I owe to your husband. Good, my man, I wouldn't did this, wouldn't did that, which I felt like it wasn't me. But the fact that he acknowledged me and felt comfortable enough to tell her that, and not that I was looking for the acknowledgement, but it was from the heart. You know what I'm saying? So those testimonies right there, they my most valuable things in coaching right there.
Good stuff, Goodie. Good stuff. Since you've been in coaching, like, what was the most stressful situation you faced?
This probably sound funny. Same dude, Kevin Thompson, because Kevin was lazy as hell, right? And every morning I would go get him and take him and get him to go to class. Not quite sure you remember them type of stories. And he'd be like, "Come on, guys, come on." I mean, I would sit there and turn Sanford and Son on until he get up. And then I would take him to class. And then he would leave. Unbeknownst to me, he would leave after I stayed there 10 minutes, he in there. He would leave. So one time, and we depended on Kev. Kev might be third in the country in rebounding. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. So I'm like, Kev, what you doing, man? What's going on? What's going on? He's like, man, good. Man, I ain't feel like going. So I said, let me go up talk to the teacher. Back then we go talk to the teacher. I said, so as we walking over there, Kev said, what you gonna say? I said, I don't know what I'm gonna say, Kev, depending what she say. So I go to the, I have a assistant basketball coach, more basketball team, and have a player of mine on the checkup on was going. She said, I don't have a Kevin Thompson. I said, what you mean I don't have a Kevin Thompson? I said, trust me, you have a Kevin Thompson. You wouldn't miss him. He's 6'10", big light-skinned kid. She said, I don't have a Kevin Thompson. This is a month half into the class. Lady said, I'd never seen Kev. So each time I took him, he walked out. So we sitting there like, what we gonna do? And my guy, Black, I never had a college job without him. Black, like, Black, what we gonna do? Black said, Goods, he can't be ineligible. He got to be eligible. Ain't no he's gonna be eligible. I said, what I supposed to do? Black, I took him to class. Black said, good. He can't be ineligible. And I've never learned that, took that lesson for granted. I went and talked the best I could, and lady was grateful, especially me being a alum of Delaware, of Morgan State, and I was in sociology, and she checked my records, and she was like, for you, I'm gonna give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give him a chance. Then a whole bunch of backloaded work, and Kev made it through. That was stressful, because I'm like, man, boys gonna look at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually pretty good. I mean, it's good, like, now that you think about it, that
now that it's over. Now that it's over. Yeah. Now that it's over.
I'm gonna lead into that. I'm glad that this was outside of COVID. This is kind of think about this one too. Like, what is the strangest thing a player has done outside of the basketball court?
Outside of the basketball court?
I've heard some people say I've seen some stuff off the court that led to the court, but what have you seen that's been strange? Anything that they've done that's been strange or whatever?
Well, I'm going to say this right here. I'm going to let you determine whether it's strange, but it was different for me. From Baltimore, I know everybody. I know the people that work at Central Booking. You know what I'm saying? I know the guard. I know. So the kids, their thing, they used to go out on Monday nights and hang out at the clubs. So long story short, they out and it's something kick off. It gets rowdy, so they grab a few of the kids. They grab. If you don't know, I'm the nickname king. I give everybody a nickname. Bose he didn't even know some of the kids' name. He was just calling them the names I gave him because I said it so much. So Amir Ali from Philly. I had a nick. Stephon was his real name. So instead of calling him Stephon, but everybody called him Amir Ali, his Muslim name. So I called him Stephon all the time. So he had got picked up for disorderly conduct, something. Long story short, it really wasn't him, but they picked him up. So I was like, man, they calling me, calling around everybody. Well, I was like, what's going on? I know the lady who runs that, her brother's a good friend of mine. We find out what's going on, see where he at. We trying to find out where he at. The whole day, I keep saying Amir Ali. She swearing me down, we don't have a Amir Ali. You do, y'all did grab him, good kid. You know, this and that. Long story short, it was Stephon, his real name. And when we finally got around to it, we got it resolved. He was like, man, I couldn't believe good. You the only one called me my real name, Stephon. You understand what I'm saying? That's kind of like the strangest thing that I can remember off the top. Yeah. All the nicknames I get, I didn't remember that, you know.
I would say strange and different. I'm gonna put it in that category.
Yeah.
Look, now you've been like you've had 10 years as an assistant, like and probably a little bit more than 10 years, and you've worked for Todd Bozeman, who for 8 of those years, and Eric Skeeter, a good friend of yours from Baltimore. You're at Dale State now, but like I always say this: your job is your best job, man. The job you have now is your best job. But everybody got aspirations. But if you had a chance to work for anyone in men's college basketball, like who would that be and why? That could be like you got a head job, and now you're working for an AD, or there might be a head coach, higher level or something like that. You move up, like anyone that you could think of that you would like say, man, that's the guy I would love to work for.
Coach K. And the reason I'm a big Duke fan, and I always get beat up around here because most people around here is Carolina guys. So I win and lose a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? with my local guys having fun. You know, it might be just lunch or something. But I think Coach K, because I like the way I'm big into doing whatever it takes to win the game, and his adjustments going from not having one and dones to one and dones, how he changed his offense once he got into USA basketball. You know, how his strength is motivating his guys. You take a guy like Lance Thomas in high school, was a born killer. He get the Duke screen. He might set 4 screens on one play. You take a guy like Nate James, a born killer in college. The next thing you know, Duke, he's shooting the corner 3. You understand what I'm saying? Primarily. Not saying them guys couldn't do more, but how he got them to buy into their specific roles. And he changed as the game changed, and how he motivated the kids, you know. And one thing stick out to me with him, what really won me over, Rudy Archer. You might remember Rudy Archer, went to Maryland. Was one of my guys. He was in my first wedding, played against each other, coming up as little boys together, against each other in JUCO. His year that he had basically failed off Maryland, and he was going to University College. We go to watch the game. They play Duke at Cofield House. And, you know, we standing around. Of course, Coach Wade, my guy, so, you know, we waiting around, going there and talk to Coach Wade after the game. Coach K is on the radio talking to somebody because he recruited Rudy. Actually, when we played Rudy, we was at Allegheny, and we played Allegheny, and I was at Essex. Coach K was at the game, and they was on Rudy. And he stopped in the middle of the interview and turned around and said, Rudy, how you doing, Rudy? In the middle of the interview, and asked him how he doing, how things going. And that right there was like super I was like, man, this guy real. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of an interview, the kid didn't come to you. Kid failed off, and he stopped. You understand what I'm saying? And acknowledge, not only acknowledge, and sincerely asked him how he was doing. I was like, that's my type of guy. I see why these guys run through the wall for him.
Yeah, good. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. And I always say this too, and a lot of people don't remember this, and you said about the adjustment. I like that because he has evolved with how the game has evolved. But then also they take care of their guys after they're done playing. Like that, I mean, that's a huge thing. And it's too many coaches that programs that don't do that. Like guys don't have jobs after, you know, trying to figure out what they're doing. I haven't seen a Duke guy that's happened to.
Exactly.
You know, Carolina the same way. Carolina the same way.
Yeah, they get on status. I mean, look at Vince, Vince down there with Johnny Dawkins. You know what I'm saying? He didn't play for Coach K.
Yeah, they take care, man. Yeah. They take care of each other. I mean, this is kind of on the funny side. I probably got to think a little bit, but like, I don't know, movie, TV show, but like, what movie or TV show title best describes your week?
My week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
work week, or your week.
Oh, that's a tough one right there. That's a tough. What movie or show? This might sound crazy. Before I turned my life around the wire, you know what I'm saying? Before I turned my life around the wire, then after that, probably a family show. You know, always with my granddaughter. Some kind of show that involves you spending time with your grandchild. You know, just getting old and enjoying watching her grow up, stuff like that. You know, but I can't think of one specific, but something that would involve that family thing.
All right. What's because I heard you say something, you got the nicknames, but like, what's your favorite word or phrase that you might say to the players, or you might just walk around all the time? What's your favorite word or phrase?
It's always the money. When you stop thinking it's the money, you the damn fool.
Always the money. That's what it is?
It's always like the that. Money. When you stop thinking it's the money, you the damn fool.
I like that. I like that. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Well, probably along the lines of be true to yourself and be loyal to a fault. You know what I'm saying? And just my opinion is more them than us. And that's not in a racial mean. I mean, more people think along the lines of not being loyal than guys like I consider myself or you that believe in loyalty. You know, we outnumbered, but you know, we in the game.
All right. I like it. I mean, that's good stuff, man. Like, Goodie, where's your happy place? Like when it's, you know, what do you like to, you might be in the office, you might take off, whatever, you might after the game, anything, like, where's your happy place?
My happy place, Lamar, is seeing a smile on my wife's face and having my granddaughter with me, you know, and that's my happy place. Worry-free, secure, worry-free. Really looking forward to retiring and having a pension and just laying back, watching my grandkids run around. Pop, can we go here? We go there. You know, being able to just go watch games on my time, you know, and just move around and doing what I love to do, watch games and enjoy my grandkids. That's my happy place. Keeping it simple.
So that's, hey, plain and simple, but it's good stuff though. If you had to choose 3 adjectives to describe yourself, which would you choose?
Logical, loyal, and realistic.
I like that. And logical, I haven't heard, but that's a big one, man. People, I think they don't honor that one enough. You know, saying logical. That's a pretty good.
That's one of my strengths, Lamar, and it's one of my weaknesses because I could pick it up real fast. That's what I meant. I could just read people pick it up fast, and when other people don't, it used to bother me that they didn't see it. Like, yo, you ain't see that? You know what I'm saying? So I had to step back and stop pushing my logic on other people, and learn how to get patience, because patience was one of my weaknesses. And I'm still a work in progress with that.
I got you. Like, I'm listening to you, so I like to pull this question out. I don't even think I've asked anybody this, but I like to listen to people as they're talking. Like, what qualities do you value in the people with whom you spend time with?
Just being honest, loyal, and being comfortable enough to be their self. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't judge a book by its cover. I don't judge a man by his area code, his race or creed. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna judge you by how you treat me. That's my thing. I feel like you got good Christians, you got bad Christians, you got good Muslims, you got bad Muslims. We could go on and on. You got good Jews, you got bad Jews. So I don't judge a book by its cover. You know what I'm saying? And I judge a person how they treat me until they prove otherwise. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt until they prove otherwise. You know.
I'm gonna say this: what person and or event, either one you want to, has had the most influence on your life?
Well, the person with the most influence, I would say, is my mom's, because coming from a single parent raised by her, and her biggest thing, I'm raising a man. You know what I'm saying? And when I grew up, it was the guys with the brothers and all. They was the tough guys. I had one sister. She was older than me, but basically like the only child, and wasn't nothing too good for me. But she was disciplined, and she made me believe in myself, like, and gave me that strength to be like, wasn't going for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Be a man. I don't care what you do, whatever you choose to do, be a man. So I say my mother was the most influential on that. And as far as basketball at an early age, it's two people I grew up with. I say Johnny Davis. He was my 13 under coach, and where I grew up at, they had 5 recs. And the rec we had our own leagues, and the rec I played, we was always win 13 under. We always won. We was good. And when I turned 12, because I was playing 13 under when I was 10, he made me play the point, because everybody was like saying, it was me and this other guy, Kevin, man, what you gonna do next year? Him and Keith, they like to shoot the ball. First day gave me the ball, made me the point. Like the point, you know, when you go home, you want to score all the points, and I never looked back. That was my first MVP. Taught me how to run plays, and he had that confidence in me. You know what I'm saying? He put the ball in my hand ever since. And one other guy, Alonzo, he died maybe 2 years ago. It's funny. We had a 13 under team, citywide team. We had this league called BNBI. We go all over the city. That was the #1 league. And Project Survival. We actually played at Cardinal Gibbons High School. I'm 10. The whole team is over 13. They ringing. And he started cutting people. And I thought, he said, I was never going to cut you. He gave me my confidence. I was the only one of right age. He gave me my confidence. Them two, they was right as far as actually playing and getting confidence and loving the game.
Awesome, man. And I'm going to ask you this, because you've been in it and you've been doing this for a long time. Not even before before AAU started, but how has coaching affected your life?
Oh, man, it opened up doors, Lamar, and relationships and friendships that I would never probably had, because I was living in that vacuum, the inner city vacuum, and it legitimized me. I went from Keith Goodie, who know basketball, who liked basketball, could play, all to legitimately Coach Goodie. You know what I'm saying? That moniker changed. It really, Coach Goodie. That's what I'm known as. My wife don't call me nothing but Coach. See what I'm saying? That I'm is either Bay or Coach. You understand what I'm saying? All her girlfriends, where Coach at? You know what I'm saying? Everybody. My sons, his friends, where Coach at? So it did a 360 in my life, keeping it real. Yeah.
Awesome. And I like to end this with the last question. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self, or your younger self, to prepare for as an assistant coach?
I would say be more open-minded to change. You know what I'm saying? Be more open-minded to change, because I'm old school. I felt like your best teaching was actually playing basketball, because I thought basketball still was an instinctive game. And get in earlier. I would say get in early as you can, and go to as many camps you can, because the game constantly evolving. You understand what I'm saying? Even you never know it all, and get more worldly. If you have to go to Dean Smith camp, go to such camp, just use them as examples, go there, get there, take notes, and keep a record of it. I mean, be more equipped, put more in your bag, per se. Put more in your bag. You understand what I'm saying? Give. If it's your dream to be reach another level, go another level, give them less reasons to not hire you. Check more boxes.
I got you. I agree with you. Well, look, man, I want to thank you again, Coach Goodie. I'm going to say Coach Goodie. I've always called you Goodie, but hey, like you said, Coach Goodie, for being a guest on the show and being unmasked. Is there anything you want to say before we close out?
Well, first of all, thanks, Lamar, man. You always have a great relationship, man, and you always was there for me. And I would like to think I was for you too, as far as us just talking the game, or, you know, how we can help each other in any way possible. And I appreciate you, you know, inviting me to be on Unmasked. And just to let you know, anything that has never changed as far as me and you, our personal relationship. Man, we've been on this phone thing forever, as far as our interactions and seeing each other. And I consider you a friend. And I know in this business, and it's just like life, you don't get a lot of them. Real friends anyway. So thanks for having me, my friend.
Man, I appreciate it, man. So, I echo those sentiments, man. Right, you know, like I saw when you first got in, you know, just saw the growth. Like you had done a great job, and you continue to do a great job. So, I want to thank you, viewers, for watching another great show. Stay tuned for the next guest as we get them unmasked. See you next time, and stay